You belonged. But here is the part that makes no sense. Skip Kendall earned every single dollar of it across 29 years and 718 starts without ever winning once. Not once. That is either the greatest story of perseverance in golf history or the cruelest, maybe both. Skip Kendall was born on September 9th, 1964, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He was Jewish, middle class, and from the kind of household where sports were encouraged, but nothing was handed to you. At Nicolet High School in Glendale, he didn't just play golf. He played everything. In soccer, he earned all-state honors as a senior. In basketball, he was team captain and MVP. In golf, he finished second in the state tournament twice, once as a sophomore, once as a senior. Second, twice. Looking back, it almost feels like the script was already written. When Kendall enrolled at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas in 1982, he was, by his own admission, an average college player. But something changed in the desert. Milwaukee winters meant months without a golf course. Las Vegas meant year-round sunshine and open fairways, and for the first time in his life, Kendall could practice every single day. He did, relentlessly. He graduated in 1987, turned professional the same year he collected his diploma, and set off with no sponsor, no guaranteed income, and no safety net. After turning professional in 1987, Kendall took a job waiting tables at an Olive Garden restaurant in Florida. Between the lunch shift and the dinner shift, he would drive to the nearest course and hit balls, still in his black trousers and white shirt, bow tie tucked in his pocket. Table to fairway, fairway to table. From 1990 to 1992, he competed on the Ben Hogan Tour, the developmental circuit that would later become the Korn Ferry Tour. He finished 10th on the money list in his first season, 3rd in his second, 7th in his third. Good enough to survive, not yet good enough to break through. The moment came at the end of 1992. Kendall entered the PGA Tour qualifying tournament, Q School, a 6-round elimination event where hundreds of professionals compete for a handful of fully exempt spots on the PGA Tour. 6 rounds. Your entire career on the line. Kendall didn't just survive. He finished co-medalist, tied for first place at 9 under par, the single best performance of the entire field. Starting in 1993, Skip Kendall had his PGA Tour card. In 1994, Kendall had his best season on the Nike Tour. He won twice, at the Nike Inland Empire Open, then at the Nike Carolina Classic, where he won by 2 strokes at the event's inaugural stop in Raleigh-Durham. 2 wins in one season on the developmental circuit announced that a player was ready for bigger things. That same year, he became the first Korn Ferry Tour player ever invited to host the PGA Tour's television program Inside the PGA Tour. Not a superstar, but a professional whose peers considered credible enough to represent the game on camera. Back home, he had already won the Wisconsin State Open in both 1988 and 1989. Those wins mattered. They were proof he could close under pressure. The PGA Tour, however, was a different stage entirely, and the closer Kendall got to winning on it, the more it seemed to slip away. 4 times Skip Kendall stood on the edge of a PGA Tour victory. 4 times he walked away without one. The first came in February of 1998 at the Buick Invitational. The tournament was cut to 54 holes due to bad weather, and Kendall carried the lead into the final round. Behind him, 8 strokes back, was Scott Simpson. Simpson shot 64. Kendall could not hold on. They went to a playoff, and Simpson won. That 8-stroke final round comeback would later be recorded as one of the largest come-from-behind victories in PGA Tour history. Kendall wasn't beaten by a great round on a normal day. He was beaten by one of the most extraordinary rounds the Tour had ever seen. 1999 was the best season of his career. 13 top 25s, a career-high world ranking of 68, just under $1 million in earnings, and a 10th place finish at the Players' Championship. He came close again at the Canon Greater Hartford Open, finishing runner-up for the second time in 2 years. After the Hartford loss, a reporter asked how he felt about still not having won. "That's not something I'm going to get hung up on," Kendall said. "I'm confident I can do it." Confidence is a big part of this game, just as is keeping an even temperament. Then came January of 2004, the Bob Hope Chrysler Classic, a 90-hole event across multiple courses in the California desert. Kendall opened with a 63, sharing the lead. He was precise across all 5 rounds, finishing at 30 under par with a closing sequence of 68, 68, 66, 65. Waiting for him in a playoff was Phil Mickelson, who that same year would go on to win the Masters. 1 hole. Mickelson made birdie. Kendall did not. The prize for finishing second was $486,000, the largest single paycheck of Kendall's career. 4 runner-up finishes. 4 times the door opened. 4 times someone else walked through it. In the summer of 2004, Skip Kendall did something most American golfers that year chose not to do. He qualified for the Open Championship. The R&A had set up a 36-hole qualifying event at Congressional Country Club in Maryland, the first time a U.S. qualifier for the Open had been held on American soil. Many top Americans skipped it entirely. Kendall wasn't interested in comfort. "Anytime I can try to get in a major championship, I'm going to be there," he said. "These are important to me, to not only test yourself, but to try to win one." He qualified, he booked his flight, and he brought his mother, Shirley, who was turning 80 years old that week. Kendall took her to Scotland to celebrate her birthday at Royal Troon. Then he went out and played the round of his life. In round 2, Kendall found a pot bunker on the 3rd hole, one of those deep, steep-sided traps that can ruin a hole entirely. He holed out from it for birdie. "A pretty easy bunker shot," he said afterward. "But how many times does the ball go into the hole? It got my day going." Later, at the 16th, he hit a 3-wood that landed just short of the green. Rather than chipping, he pulled out his flat stick and rolled the ball from just off the green. It tracked the line perfectly, hit the pin, and dropped for eagle. He finished the day at 5 under par 66. When the scorecards were posted, Skip Kendall, the man who used to wait tables at an Olive Garden in Florida and practice golf between shifts in his bow tie and black trousers, was leading the Open Championship, alone at the top. Behind him, Thomas LeVay, Ernie Els, Vijay Singh, Colin Montgomery, Phil Mickelson was 4 shots back, Tiger Woods was 6 behind. A writer covering the tournament described Kendall as scrappy at 150 pounds and full of self-belief, a guy who had gone from waiting tables to leading the oldest major in golf. The 3rd round, the wind arrived. Kendall shot 75, fell back through the field, and finished tied for 11th. He never contended in a major again. But for one Friday in July of 2004, he stood at the top of the golf world. Some moments don't need a trophy to be remembered. In 1995, Chris DeMarco was in trouble. He had lost his PGA Tour card. His performance on the greens had become a serious problem, specifically on short shots where the pressure of the moment was causing him to miss from distances he had no business missing. He fell back to the mini tours in Florida. It was there, in 1996, that he ran into Skip Kendall. Kendall showed him a different way to hold the club on the green, a grip where the right hand wrapped around from the side rather than underneath, neutralizing the tendency of the dominant hand to twitch at the critical moment. Players called it the claw grip. DeMarco tried it. The results were immediate. Years later, he described that moment in an interview with ESPN. "I had nowhere to play. The next year I was playing mini tour events, and I ran into Skip Kendall, who showed me the claw grip. I went from shooting 74s and 73s to immediately shooting 65s again. It was a rebirth." DeMarco returned to the PGA Tour, rebuilt his career, earned tens of millions of dollars, and came within a single hole of winning the Masters in 2005, Losing to Tiger Woods in a playoff, Kendall never used the claw grip himself. He played his entire career with a conventional grip. He simply saw something in DeMarco's game, recognized that a different technique could fix it, demonstrated it, and went back to doing what he had always done. The claw grip is now used by some of the best players in the world: Justin Rose, Tommy Fleetwood, Scottie Scheffler. Its spread on tour traces back to a conversation in a Florida field in 1996 between two players nobody was watching. One of them became famous. The other remained, as always, quietly essential. At some point, the numbers demand to be examined. Skip Kendall finished his PGA Tour career with nearly $10 million in prize money, 26 top 10 finishes, and more than 100 top 25s. In 1998, despite never winning, he ranked 8th in the all-around statistical category on the PGA Tour, covering every aspect of the game, from driving to iron play. 8th out of every professional golfer on the planet that season. Now, consider this. Ben Crenshaw won 19 times on tour, including 2 Masters titles, and earned a little over $3 million in his career. Lee won 29 times and claimed 6 major championships. His career earnings were approximately $6.5 million. Johnny Miller won 25 tour events and 2 majors, around $7 million total. Skip Kendall, with 0 PGA Tour victories, earned more than all 3 of them. This reflects the reality of prize money inflation. Purses grew dramatically from the 1980s onward, and Kendall competed long enough to benefit at every stage. But he had to earn every dollar. No appearance fees, no exemptions handed to him by reputation. He earned his card through Q School, kept it through performance, and when he lost it, went back and earned it again. One fellow member of the winless $10 million club, Briney Baird, once put it directly: "I would rather be the guy who has won the most money without a victory than the guy who has won the least money. A stat is only as bad as you want it to be." Kendall never said anything like that publicly. His record said it for him. By the end of the 2019 season, Skip Kendall had spent 29 years as a professional golfer, and quietly, without drama, he decided he was done. Not because of injury or illness. The decision came from somewhere more personal. "I just really didn't perform up to what I wanted to do," he said in an interview with Wisconsin Golf. And honestly, I think as the year went on, I've got some young kids and just kind of wanted to be home, you know? It might have been different if I was playing better. I'm sure it would have been. I just really didn't feel like going. No farewell tour, no grand statement, just a 55-year-old man who decided his children needed more of his time than another tee time did. He moved into coaching, opening a golf academy in Orlando with partner Brian O'Neill. He developed a short game mentoring program for junior and collegiate players, bringing the same methodical approach that had kept him competitive for 3 decades. Away from the course, he had spent nearly 2 decades building something else. The Skip Kendall Children's Hospital of Wisconsin Pro-Am for Kids, which he founded in 2000, had raised more than $5 million for pediatric care by the time he retired. And in 2006, while still competing, he was inducted into the Wisconsin State Golf Association